and I actually played it to my girlfriend. And like with her, it's either she like it or she don't.
Okay.
And so it's like sometimes I'm just like, oh, well, maybe she don't like it because it's just a demo and it sounds really bad. And she's like, no, I just don't like it.
Rashad, up and coming country music sensation, future superstar, if you ask me. That's my opinion. How you doing today, Rashad?
Yeah, I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I appreciate you asking. And you live in Nashville now, but you're originally from Georgia, is that right?
Yeah, originally from Willacoochee, Georgia.
Willacoochee, Georgia. Yeah. How has that how different is Nashville life from growing up in Georgia?
Um, and Nashville, I don't know. In Nashville, it's a bunch of red lights, and then Willacoochee, we ain't got like not one.
You got to stop way too much.
Yeah, everybody else be like, yeah, well, like I know a lot of people talk about like in their songs and stuff how they got like one stoplight. I'm like, well, that's nice. We ain't even got one.
Yeah. Oh wow, you guys had a stoplight? I originally grew up and I'm from Ohio, but I originally grew up in Western Kentucky, right? And then moved to Nashville. I actually lived in Nashville a lot of my life, and it was very different than living in Western Kentucky. It was it's it's a speedier environment, I think, you know.
Yeah.
That's why they need all those stoplights. So man, I have been a fan of yours. I mean, I can't call myself a day one fan, right? Because I didn't grow up in Willacoochee, but I did discover you. It was "Drinking About You." That was the song. That was the first song I heard. That would what 2019. Oh, excuse me. And I remember hearing that and like immediately sending it around to friends, like, you are going to love this guy. So
I appreciate it.
yeah, man, I have been really excited about your career and following you. And then gosh, last year you dropped some bangers and you got a new one. But what I'd like to ask first is going back to the beginning, I'd love to get kind of a rundown of where your musical journey kind of started up to sort of this point.
Um, I say it started around maybe 13. I was getting mixed up on the age, but it was I was watching that like you remember Light Mike?
Yeah, Bow Wow, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I had a little VHS tape. And before the back then when you had the VHS tapes and if the movie had like a big soundtrack or something, before the movie they always played a music video.
Okay.
And before like Mike, they played that basketball video where he was rapping and stuff. And I was like, I could do that. And so that's when I started like messing around with rap and finding out about like Tupac and Eminem and Lil Wayne. And I did that for about I don't know until I was up like about 18. Then I want to say when I was like 20, that's when I was like, you know what, I ain't never tried country music. Like I've always liked it to an extent because when my daddy tried to put me on it, I didn't like it. Like when we were like we would watch cars and stuff, he would always turn on country music. I'm like, man, I don't want to hear this. So I put my headphones in with a little MP3 player. And then I heard Keith Urban Sweet Thing and I was like, it ain't that bad. And so like even in the like in the mornings I'll go to school with my mama and she always got there early because she worked in the lunchroom. So me and my sister would go with her, and that meant we got to sit in the lunchroom and we had access to the TV. And so we would, I would bounce back and forth between 27 was MTV,
Okay.
28, channel 28 was CMT, and channel 29 was VH1.
Yeah.
And one day,
Yeah.
and one day I popped on CMT, and I think Cruise was on by Florida Georgia Line, and I know everybody's like, "Oh, that song's terrible." Oh, this. I'm like, man, that junk was hard when it came out, and I just stayed on that channel. I was like, dang, like this what y'all doing over here? And after that, and then like even then, I still didn't like really get into it, like trying to do it. And then I think it was like I was like 20, 21. And I was like, you know what? I never tried country music, so I did. I think the first one I did was Memories.
Okay. Yeah.
And I sent it around to a couple people, and they was like, "Yo, you should do a whole EP." And so, like being in Willacoochee, there ain't a lot of people there that did music,
Right.
and so I was like, used to like how stuff went in the rap world, how you just get on BeatStars and you just find a beat. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do that for country. And I got on there and I was looking up like country type beats, and I did Memories, Drinking. I think I recorded that whole EP in like a week.
Wow.
And I put it out, got the biggest reaction I ever got from my music.
Wow.
I guess because it was just easier for me to do. It's like I don't know. It felt like in rap you don't have to like put on this persona or an R&B or pop. You gotta be this certain type of person. And it was like with country, I could just be myself.
Yeah.
And it just flowed out easy. And I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do.
So it was a very natural sort of blending that you found between the two sort of influences.
Yeah.
And then, so, I mean, gosh, and so we go through a whole pandemic and last year you you got Never Change and Cottonmouth. Golly, dude, what a song. So I want to ask about that. I would love to know a little bit about that, how that song sort of came about, writing that. First, can you tell me a little bit about sort of how that song evolved?
Cottonmouth?
Yeah.
It was me, Michael Lotten. It was me, Michael Lotten, and Michael Whitworth. And it was in a writing session. And I was like, okay, what you want to write about? And I hadn't heard a bunch of songs, like a bunch of country songs about like somebody switching up on you.
Okay.
And I was like, I didn't have that happen, and I want to write it. I just never knew how.
Sure.
And so we started messing around, and then we came out with it, and we had like a really rough demo, and I actually played it to my girlfriend, and like with her, it's either she like it or she don't.
Okay.
And so it's like sometimes I'm just like, oh, well, maybe she don't like it because it's just a demo and it sounds really bad. And she's like, no, I just don't like it. So I played a Cottonmouth, but she liked that one.
Oh, good.
And so, so I'm like, okay, we probably have to put this one out because she actually liked this one. So I played it to Christian. My attorney, he liked it. Played it to Johnny, my manager, he liked it. And then because I had been performing it at shows and stuff, and then I did it at CMA Fest, and that's where I wore the Ice Nine Kill shirt.
Right.
And what happened after that? Oh, Johnny asked me what I want to. Oh no, we was making the artwork for Hit Different, the one that's coming out the 26th.
Right, new song.
And the original cover I had on the Ice Nine Kill shirt, he was like, "Oh, we probably can't use that, because we're gonna have to get clearance and stuff." And so Ash was like, "Oh, well, I can hit them up." And he was like, "Okay, they're cool with it." And I'm like, "What? Just like that?" And so now we got the cover art. But then Johnny was like, what do you think about having them on a song? And I was like, that'd be dope. Because I used to listen to them a lot. Like my homeboy put me on them. And so he sent them to Cottonmouth, and Spencer loved it. And he was like, yeah, I'll hop on. And that's how Cottonmouth, and because the Cottonmouth Rock Miss came to be.
Dude, it's so good. Like I love Cottonmouth. And then like and I remember seeing that picture of you CMA. Was that your first CMA Fest?
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Was that a fun experience for you?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Like it was cool.
That's fun. But yeah, I remember seeing that picture, and then I remember and then when the remix dropped, I'm like, hey, he was a fan of theirs before, And like, it's like that's such a crazy cool opportunity to have that. Yeah, I'm with you. Like they're fantastic. The Silver Scream album is like iconic. Like, oh my
Oh yeah.
god. Oh my god, it's so good. Um um and you touched on Hit Different. That's the next single that's coming out. And it's fantastic. And there's a thread between Never Change and Cottonmouth and Hit Different. There's a lot more sort of rock blending into what you're doing, I've noticed.
Yeah, that's I don't know, that's always what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I started listening to rock when I don't even remember. But like I didn't have no internet, I didn't have no CD player.
Okay.
I had like an old phone and I was recording songs off the radio and listening to them with my phone.
Yes, I
then
remember
one,
that.
and then one day my mama she went to the laundromat and I found like it was like this old CD. And I took it home, put it in a CD player, and it had like a bunch of like rock stuff on it. But one of them that I remember specifically was Linkin Park in the End. And it was like some old like burnt bootleg CD with all these rock songs on it. I was like, that's cool. And so that's when I got into like around the time I was already into wrestling.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that really got me into rock too, because all the theme songs and stuff.
It was all of them. Yo, man, I remember like, gosh, yeah, the wrestling CDs back in the day, the WWF, well, it was WWF then, but now it's WWE. But yeah, it was all like new metal bands, and that's what I grew up on. I mean, that was that's my era of rock, it was like the new metal era. And so gosh, God, I'm trying to think like who all would have been on there. Like POD and like you said, Linkin Park, all those kind of bands. Yeah, you're right. That blending, that world, the rock, the metal, rock, and wrestling, they just go hand in hand. They really do.
And that's how I ended up getting into it.
That's
and then
so
I think it was after because I feel like my sound changed a little bit on every single. Like after Dirt Road and stuff, that was like the more trap oriented stuff.
Yeah.
And then on Raised Up, I sort of got away from that. And then Never Change was like one of the more heavier ones, like more like rocky,
more prominent.
like
yeah, it's kind of more in your face a little bit. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I think it's cool that you just have all these different influences and you're not afraid to kind of like throw them in there. I mean, that's artistry. Like I got all this. I like this. I like that. I like this. Let's see what happens. Let's throw it in a pot. That's it's musical gumbo.
That's how I feel about it. I feel like it'd be wrong for me to like listen to all these people and then just ignore them all.
Right. I get it. So Hit Different, that's coming out on, is it the 27th? Is that right?
26.
26, excuse me, 26 on 26th. What can you tease anything that's ahead for you this year? I mean, is there going to be a full-length album? Are you going to be touring? How's that all going? Can you even
Oh no, I can't. I definitely got some more singles on the way.
Okay.
I'm still thinking about if I want to do like a album or EP.
Sure.
And definitely doing a lot more shows.
Awesome.
That's
awesome.
mostly why I'm doing all this new music, so I can just like revamp my whole set list.
Right on. Ground up.
Yeah.
Maybe keep some of the old stuff in there because it's us old Rvshvd fans.
Oh, yeah, I'm keeping all that stuff. It's just I got a few in there that I want to switch out. Like I want to come test the waters with.
I want to be able to come to a show and have a beer and croon along to Drinking About You.
I got you.
Rvshvd, you're the coolest, man. I really, really sincerely appreciate you taking time to sit down and chat today. I'm so excited about the new songs and Hit Different, which I've gotten to hear is awesome. I can't wait for other people to hear it. Dude, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.